Welcome to Turtle WoW News with Vrograg. I'm your news anchor orc, Vrograg Fishlayer, here to bring you all the server news for the week of December 5th, 2023. I am broadcasting today from the blood-soaked grounds of Gurubashi Arena in Stranglethorn Vale because I have a special announcement later. But first, we have some news. Today we'll be covering big changes from last week involving Chromaggus, Turtle WoW radio hitting YouTube, examining the markets, and going over last week's changelog. We have a lot of ground to cover, so let's get to it. I'm the Orc, and here's the news. Today's top story comes from last week's changelog. A massive repository of mob immunities was integrated into Turtle WoW with some troubling problems right out of the gate. Most notably was a boss-breaking bug, if you'll pardon the pun, on the Guardians of Icecrown. During the last phase of Kel'Thuzad, 4 of these behemoth battle beetles are spawned and need to be crowd-controlled. Traditional strategy requires priests to shackle 3 of them, and the 4th is feared by a paladin or kited by some other class. The big immunity patch applied, however, erroneously made them immune to shackle effects, which made for some unfortunate wipes on the final boss of the Dread Citadel. The raiding community was quick to post on the GitHub about the Guardians because it was so game-breaking, and happily it was fixed mid-week. However, some new immunities were in truth corrections to upper-level raids, and to the uninitiated this made certain encounters tougher. Battle Guard Sartura, Naxxramas worshippers, Shades of Naxxramas gained immunity to stuns, animated weapons and military wing became immune to disarm, which is kind of funny because they are literally just floating weapons, but I digress. Lower level raiders were affected as well, as seemingly Major Domo Executus' Flame Waker posse were altered as well. The healers suddenly given immunity to polymorph, a common linchpin of strategy for the fight, and the elites were now made immune to stuns. Still, other lingering new immunities, which are more than likely erroneous, also included the spectral horses in the Gothic fight being immune to stuns, and of course, ghouls in Naxxramas being immune to non-hunter slowing effects certainly seems like a glaring one, considering that Naxx trash farms require other slowing effects to work for trash to be taken down at all. This evidently all happened because of bad data given by client scanning software used on various classic snapshots to automatically populate lists of necessary changes. These types of accuracy updates are meant to make Vmangos core, and by extension Turtle WoW, as Blizz-like as possible. This specific immunity change was big, boasting over 2,000 lines of code, and believed to be accurate since it was happily integrated into Vmangos. Unfortunately, its sheer size and perceived accuracy also prevented enough quality assurance being done, and thus issues arose. I spoke briefly with QA spokesperson Turt Reynolds about the developing situation, and they had this to say. The fact that stuff like the KT shackles were broken by the change, I think, isn't acceptable, and I personally am pushing to get the QA team in front of these changes before they hit live. We're certainly glad to hear that this was a teaching moment for the QA members of the Turtle team. According to the GitHub, many of the lingering erroneous immunities should be remedied by the time today's changelog comes out. The one silver lining in this story is that much of these changes are available to be seen on the Vmangos GitHub since it is an open source project, and it grants average people like myself an opportunity to look at code that gets integrated into Turtle WoW. We'll leave a link in the description for community members to peruse at their leisure. One final tidbit of information I learned by examining the code is relevant to the rogues and hunters of Turtle WoW. Many poisonous effects seem to largely no longer affect a plurality of elementals, constructs, and green dragonkin. Keep this in mind before your next adventure, and be sure to do your own research to stay informed. Our next top story involved one of Turtle WoW's own, Balake, noted GitHub reporter and Vmangos contributor, making a big improvement to the notoriously annoying Chromaggus fight in Blackwing Lair, and his work was adopted by the Turtle team. In 2 Vmangos pull requests all the way back in August, Balake used Warcraft logs, parse databases, and classic class Discord screenshots to lobby for a bevy of changes to the Chromaggus encounter, changes that were accepted by the Vmangos development team. So what are those changes? First, the shimmer effect, better known as the Big Dog's vulnerability swap, now happens once every 20 seconds rather than 45. Second, the application of the various brood afflictions now goes out once every 7.5 seconds rather than every 4, and can affect as few as 11 players rather than the guaranteed 15 players previously observed. Also worth mentioning is that hunter pets are now potential targets for brood afflictions, whereas before they escaped its wrath. The other pull request squarely targeted the stun application from the bronze affliction, a notorious annoyance. Balake demonstrated with painstaking proof that the correct proc chance is 25%, not 40%, like Turtle WoW players have all been too accustomed to. Once more, having access to the code from Vmangos was a great asset in researching the story. However, before everyone gets excited for the next fight with Nefarian's faithful hound, do remember that while team members have said that the same patch was applied from Vmangos to Turtle WoW's core, that doesn't mean everything is the same. According to the language of the changelog, the bronze affliction proc rate was indeed changed to 25%, but on a second line of the changelog, Torta speaks more generally in that there were some tweaks made to Chromaggus' script, so there is a chance that not all of the edits made by Balake's other Vmangos edits were integrated. These changes are welcome comfort to those climbing to the top of Blackrock Mountain, especially for smaller raid groups that could easily get overwhelmed with afflictions. And, of course, the black market for Hourglass Sand, the reagent used for curing bronze affliction, may start to finally mellow out. On behalf of all raiders going to Blackwing Lair, I'd like to thank Balake for his tireless efforts to make the game more authentic and engaging. My hat's off to you. Our last top story is something we've been following for a while now, the development of the Turtle WoW Live in-game radio. It is no secret that recently there has been live programming broadcast throughout all of Azeroth through those tuning into Everlook's eponymous radio station. In the past, live programs like Living in the Past with Dan have been great additions to the Turtle WoW media landscape, but sadly, many people are not able to tune into the shows. Well, that ends now, with the release of Everlook's own YouTube channel, where you can find a catalog of all the live shows that were recorded and uploaded as videos for players to enjoy now at their own leisure. Make sure to support the radio team with a subscription to their channel and comment on their shows to let them know what you think. A link to their channel will be provided in the description of the video. Good luck, Everlook! With your own channel, I can't wait to catch up on all the shows I missed. That rounds out our top stories for this week. Let's shoot over to our local auction house and see how the market has been faring. Welcome to Market Watch, Turtle WoW's premier auction house analysis by a wannabe economist wearing a tuxedo. All the numbers we use are provided and powered by WoWauctions.net. Make sure to visit our partner in data to do your own investment due diligence. Now to the stocks. Arcane Crystal dropped a good deal, losing 25% of its value, ending the short period at 22 gold. This is a momentous occasion for the crystal enthusiasts, finally able to find reasonable prices for the mining rarity. Black Lotus trended flat last 2 weeks, always staying within a gold of the 26 mark, save for a crazy day on the 1st where it quickly shot up to 35. Things as of late have seemed stable for the flask-making herb, meaning good predictable cost for raiders. Cured Rugged Hide showed strong volatility even if it trended flat, ending the short period under 22 gold. As ever, the spiky supply and demand make this leatherworking good hard to predict in the coming days. Grom's Blood, in its own erratic way, slowly has been edging closer with the 1 gold valuation in recent weeks. It's not quite the highs of June nor the lows of September, but it might be the new market spot for this herb. Large Brilliant Shards actually showed some growth recently, trending up nearly 50 silver. Be cautious though, recent history has taught us that there can be little peaks before falling to new lows. Mooncloth had a volatile 2 weeks on the books, trending down by about a gold, though still having occasional rallies. It is starting to appear as if this is the new price level for Mooncloth, staying above 15 and below 20 gold, as it has for a month and a half. Stone Scale Eel slid its way down ever so slightly, sticking close to the 1 gold mark, but still lost about 10 silver in value over 2 weeks. As fishers start to establish their new routes and players' demand starts understanding these historic highs, we can expect to see some more slight depreciation of the fishing's finest eel. On to the S&V 7, the index made up of all stocks previously mentioned. This month, the index stumbled down under 20, losing 5%. Historically, we are seeing a slow and steady lowering of the market through the S&V. Even though other commodities not tracked here are causing some inflation, in general, the market is continuing to calm down. That completes this week's market analysis. MarketWatch hopes you found this information useful. Make sure to keep an eye on your coin, otherwise someone else will for you. Let's get back to the news, but first, let's find out why Vrograg is in Gurubashi Arena. I have trawled through so many class discussion threads in my time as a Turtle WoW reporter. Buff this, nerf that, on and on it goes. It just seems like there's a war bubbling beneath the surface, and I don't mean the one between the Alliance and the Horde. I mean, of course, the class war. What better way to settle these squabbles and prove the true mettle of your class in this new and exciting streamed PvP format created by yours truly? All 9 classes will participate in a giant free-for-all within their own class here at Gurubashi to earn the honor and respect of their peers, and perhaps a title of respect to be used during the event. Factions don't matter, races don't matter, just the desire to be the best in your class. Should you prove victorious within your own class, then you can move on to the final fight, where the cream of the crop from each class will be pitted against one another in another free-for-all bloodbath, the Grand Melee. The winner gets a fat sack of coins and the title of Grand Champion of the First Class War. No consumes, no groups, bring only what your class provides. Beware though, if you seem a little too intimidating, then you might just end up being targeted by all the other players in the blood-soaked pits of Gurubashi. It is a free-for-all, remember. Registration is in person at the arena, starting at 11 a.m. US Eastern, 4 p.m. server time, and is only 5 gold. Slots might run out, so make sure to show up or miss out on the chance to fight in the Battle Royale of the year. There is no charge for admittance, but griefers and cheaters will not be tolerated. For more details, there will be a post for this in the Turtle WoW event channel. See you this weekend live from Gurubashi, where we can all stop squabbling in chat about classes and prove what they're all truly capable of. See you there. Now, back to our normal programming. A changelog hit the server on November 28th, so let's take a quick look with a rapid-fire changelog roundup of any important notes we didn't already address. The legal ambiguity of Shellcoin has finally caught up with Marlos Katos, and now Booty Bay is the only place where Shellcoin can be purchased. A cheating exploit used in BWL involving Razorgore's room has been removed for those naughty cheaters. Shame. Emperor Vecnalash had his attack timers adjusted from sometimes lining up in a way to occasionally hit a tank multiple times all at once. Whipper root tubers can now be looted once again after a period of time where cleansing the Fellwood plant would give no item. The Telebim server will now correctly have Ragnaros and Onyxia drop 2-tier pieces since they cannot raid cross-faction. Chromie's Pocket Watch now has 10 spirit replacing 2% spell hit, since the proc effect on the watch can't be fixed until patch, and is otherwise way too strong for its gear level. Those are the big takeaways from November 28th's changelog. Make sure to keep an eye out on the forums for this week's changelog to keep yourself ahead of the curve with all the latest breaking information. That is all the news that is fit to print for now. I'd like to thank everyone who wished this news orc a happy birthday. I had a great weekend. Winter Veil is on the horizon, as well as many new things just around the corner, so be sure to stay tuned for all relevant server updates. I hope you'll be able to tune in this weekend for the big PvP event I'll be hosting. If not, no worries, you can always catch up with all the VODs under the live tab. Thank you for watching and continuing to support the channel. Make sure to like the video if you enjoyed it and subscribe to help the channel grow. We're still so close to 3K subscribers. Let's see if we can get there soon. I need to start cleaning up the stands in the arena in preparation for this weekend, so I need to get going. I hope to see you all again soon. Make sure, no matter what you're doing, to have fun. Be safe, and as always, remember, the deadliest weapon is knowledge.